calling from good old Hazzard County. I want you to run a make on a couple of dipstick hitting runners.
Howdy y'all. The Dukes of Hazzard was a mighty fine cast in many ways, but what do they look like today? Did the cast deal with some real nightmares afterwards? What heartbreaks did the beautiful Catherine Bach deal with? Who is still left from the cast? And what are Bo and Luke up to today? Buckle up and let's see the cast of the Dukes of Hazzard then and now. Tom Wopat. Who was more popular with the ladies than Luke Duke, the cooler-headed of the Duke boys, with that easygoing smile and smooth-talking charm?
The trouble is, you can be sure he's shooting. They got her hid away by now. Probably real good, too.
Whether he was teaming up with Bo to swerve and dodge and weave Boss Hogg's latest attempt to snag him, or just cruising around Hazzard County in that General Lee, Luke was kind of the voice of reason on the show. The guy you'd want on your side in a pinch. You just knew he'd outwit Roscoe by a mile, and then break into that signature laugh that made the show complete and feel like a family get-together. Tom Wopat's time on the Dukes of Hazzard from 1979 until 1985 officially made both Tom Wopat and Luke Duke a household name. His chemistry with John Schneider's Bo Duke was electric, and the two became one of TV's most iconic duos at the time of airing and even still today. Rolling Stone magazine ranks the Duke brothers as number 41 of the best TV duos of all time. They're right between Donnie and Marie at 42, and just behind two newer detectives over on HBO, the acclaimed TV show True Detective. Yep, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. Not too shabby for two good old boys. Now before we get to where Tom is today, let's talk why he was so dang perfect for this role.
Yeah, except these old boys ain't brewing moonshine, they're brewing up silver bars.
Wopat's athleticism and smooth southern charm made him a perfect fit for Luke. And here's a fun tidbit. Tom often did his own stunts, whether it was jumping out of the General Lee or getting into fistfights at the Boar's Nest. Wopat was always up for the challenge. Of course, his famous hood slide was created and perfected by the actor himself, who has stated that it actually kinda happened on accident. They were shooting a scene and he was running back towards the General Lee when his slick cowboy boots slipped on the even slicker wet grass. And boom, next thing he knew, he was airborne and sliding over that hood. Apparently, he still has a small scar on his hip from the antenna on that first accidental attempt. So for all you couch critics out there saying acting isn't hard, don't tell that to Tom Wopat. Or Tom's stunt double. Yes, I know, but some of those righteous stunts were just too risky for the actor himself. Tom's stunt double was Ted Barba officially. So while on the Dukes of Hazzard, Tom also pursued his passion of music, which he's still creating today, releasing several country albums that showed off his rich baritone voice. But of course, it all began with him recording the Dukes of Hazzard theme, with the Dukes of Hazzard soundtrack officially kicking off his career. And by 1983, he released his debut album, Tom Wopat. Of course, we know TV shows can make one-hit wonders out of even the most beloved stars. But after the Dukes of Hazzard, Tom Wopat didn't just fade away, he just shifted gears and hopped back on the stage at Broadway. Before he was sliding across hoods on CBS, he was taking bows on Broadway as part of the 1964 original ensemble of Fiddler on the Roof. So after Dukes, he took a pause from TV work and jumped back into the vocal training of theater. He starred in some big-time shows like Annie Get Your Gun, 42nd Street, and Chicago. He really was a complete hit with the critics, thanks to that voice of his. Plus, it turns out he's not too shabby of a performer. But of course, we already knew that. And that stint on Broadway, it netted him 2 Tony Award nominations. Unfortunately for Tommy, in 1999, when he was nominated for Annie Get Your Gun, he lost to the brilliant Martin Short for Little Me. But at least his Annie counterpart, Bernadette Peters, took home the Tony as Annie Oakley. But Wopat did not stop there. He continued to diversify his career, taking on a variety of roles that showcased his versatility. His talent for playing both heroic and gritty characters, it kinda helped him avoid that dreaded typecast, or being pigeonholed as Luke Duke forever. No, he appeared in TV shows like Smallville, Sybil, and he was great in Longmire, building a reputation as a reliable, engaging presence in both comedic and dramatic roles. Throughout the years, Tom Wopat has continued to follow his love of music, releasing a series of jazz and country albums that showcase his smooth, soulful style. He's even collaborated with his Duke co-star John Schneider on musical projects, and even went on tour, bringing his unique blend of country, pop, and jazz to fans around the country. Most recently, Tom's focused on creating his own music and acting in independent films. Nowadays, Tom Wopat is 73 years old, and he remains a beloved part of the Dukes of Hazzard family. He frequently attends reunions and fan events, where he's always eager to chat with fans and reminisce about his days in Hazzard County. From the dirt roads of Hazzard to the bright lights of Broadway, Tom Wopat's journey has been as adventurous as one of Luke Duke's daring escapes. And we're all still here for the ride. In August, he was up in Pennsylvania attending the 24th annual Great Pottsville Car Cruise. He was signing autographs and even taking pictures with fans. He said of the event and broad range of fans, quote, "1/3 of the people are kids who are 3rd and 4th generation fans of the show. This show will live on long after I am gone. It was iconic, and I never expected this when we were filming." And isn't that so cool? Thank you, Tom Wopat, for bringing the character and show to life and giving us fans decades worth of entertainment. We here at Do You Remember cannot wait to see what you do next. John Schneider. Bo Duke, the charming, reckless, and always adventurous half of the Duke boys, with his bright blue eyes, golden hair, and a knack for getting into trouble. Bo was the quintessential rebel who always had a plan, even if it was a crazy one. Bo's infectious energy and carefree spirit captured our hearts. And John Schneider, well, he brought Bo to life with charisma and authenticity, making Bo Duke a character that we couldn't help but cheer for, especially when he was outsmarting Boss Hogg and Roscoe. Now, John Schneider's time on the Dukes of Hazzard, it solidified him as an up-and-coming actor to watch. The chemistry between Schneider and his co-star Tom Wopat, it was simply undeniable, and their dynamic made the show a fan favorite. One fun fact, Schneider learned how to drive the General Lee in order to help minimize the stunt driver's necessity. His fearless attitude and natural talent behind the wheel, it made those high-speed chases look effortless.
Go!
He wasn't just a pretty face either. He wrote and produced music for the show, blending his passions for acting and music. After Dukes, John Schneider didn't just rest on his laurels. He launched into an exciting and varied career that showed his incredible range of talents, as well as his vocal range. He made a smooth transition to country music, hey, just like his TV brother, releasing some songs fresh out of Dukes in the mid-1980s that really caught people's attention.
Yes, I'm gonna leave you.
Some highlights of those songs include Country Girls from 1985, I've Been Around Enough to Know from '84, and finally, You're the Last Thing I Needed Tonight, which hit number 11 on the country charts. Schneider even performed alongside some serious legends like Johnny Cash and Stagecoach. And John Schneider described Johnny Cash as a best friend. Schneider's love for music has never wavered, and he often combines his two passions, performing live concerts and sharing his journey with fans. In addition to his music career, Schneider ventured into acting beyond Dukes, of course. He starred in some shows like Smallville. He was Jonathan Kent, Superman's adoptive father, which allowed him to connect with a new generation of fans. But that's not all. John Schneider has embraced the world of independent filmmaking too, producing and directing a range of projects, including the film To Die For and the heartfelt drama Stand On It, the latter of which pays homage to the spirit of the Dukes of Hazzard. Today, John Schneider is 64 years old, and he's still actively performing both in music and on screen. He remains a cherished member of the Dukes of Hazzard family, as well as finding new love again after a very serious loss. In 2023, John's wife Alicia, she died after a 4-year battle with cancer. Enter another widow mourning the loss of a spouse, Dee Dee Sorvino. Yep, the wife of dearly departed husband and actor Paul Sorvino. Paul was 83 when he passed back in 2022, and John and Dee Dee, well, they met and they instantly bonded because of shared grief. So eerily similar situations they found themselves in. John spoke of this saying, quote, There is something to be said about commiserating because we didn't expect it, further describing that first meeting as magic. Sure, there is new love, but they're also dealing with a shared guilt that comes along with surviving. Let me end his section with another quote of his on the situation. John said, "We're going to do a lot of things, and we're going to enjoy every one of them from now on out. It's all about laughter, it's about adventure, and it's about success. And if you don't fit into that category, you're out. And you know what? It's hard to fault John in that. Enjoy your life, man, and thanks for all you've given to the Dukes of Hazzard family." Catherine Bach. Oh, Daisy, oh, Daisy, oh, Daisy Duke. The feisty, fun-loving Southern belle who could turn heads while outsmarting just about everyone in Hazzard County. With Catherine's sparkling smile, infectious energy, and those iconic cut-off shorts, Catherine Bach made Daisy a character we all adored. Whether she was helping her cousins Bo and Luke escape from trouble, or charming her way out of a tight spot, Daisy brought a unique mix of wit and sass to the show.
I had to do that, but orders is orders.
That's okay, Enos. The sheriff doesn't have anything to ticket me for anyway.
Catherine's portrayal transformed Daisy Duke into a cultural icon, setting fashion trends and capturing hearts with her blend of beauty and strength. She was more than just a pretty face. She was a true force of nature. Catherine Bach's time on the Dukes of Hazzard transformed the former UCLA college student, a fashion hopeful, into a worldwide sex icon. So much so that her shorts, those Daisy Dukes, while Catherine is solely credited for popularizing those iconic denim shorts, making them a cultural reference. The design department was actually workshopping the character, and she was inspired by a local diner's waitress outfit. She just came in on Monday with her Dukes out. Bach effortlessly embodied Daisy Duke and the character's spirit, making her not just a sidekick, but a pivotal part of the Duke family. Her scenes often provided the perfect blend of humor and heart, proving that Daisy was just as savvy and brave as her male counterparts. After the Dukes of Hazzard, Catherine Bach continued to thrive in the entertainment industry. She took on various roles in TV and film, showing her versatility as an actress. She appeared in series like The Young and the Restless and African Skies, where she showcased her talent in both dramatic and comedic settings. In the early 2000s, she even reprised her role as Daisy in the Dukes of Hazzard movies. But it wasn't just acting that kept Catherine busy. She's also dedicated time to philanthropy and has been involved in various charitable causes, particularly those supporting children and animal welfare. Her compassion and commitment to giving back have added depth to her public persona, showing fans there's so much more to her than just those sexy legs that CBS once had to insure for $1 million. Sadly, for all the joy and happy distractions that Catherine gave so many of us both in and out of Hazzard County, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for her personal life. Outside of acting, she kept busy with a jewelry line, plus building a beautiful family with entertainment lawyer Peter Lopez back in the 1990s. And 2 became 4 when they had daughters Sophia and Laura. But then the happy family was shattered forever when Peter was found unalive in 2010. He was just 60 years old. Apparently, he took his own life, tragically. I mean, I can't even imagine the heartbreak, and you should all know, if you're feeling lost or alone, there's always help. Bach continues to connect with fans who grew up watching her. She doesn't attend as many conventions as, say, Wopat or Schneider, but you can still find her from time to time if you're looking hard enough. She said this at her last expo in September of 2024, quote, "I did enough work before to realize in my mind I wasn't the character, but it was a part of me because I played it for 7 years on television. Of course, people typecast you, but that's better than never casting you, so you never have anything to fight against. Maybe it bothered my agents, but it didn't bother me." Catherine's legacy as Daisy is certainly cemented and celebrated. Nowadays, the former Daisy Duke is in her early 70s. She just finished writing a book, so she mostly spends her days doing this, quote, "I've never been so busy walking dogs and taking care of them." Well, those are some lucky dogs, Catherine. Lucky, lucky dogs. Denver Pile. Uncle Jesse, the wise, caring uncle to the Duke kids who kept the peace in Hazzard County with a heart as big as his love for his family. He was a big part of the Duke brothers' lives. He even delivered Bo and Luke when they were born. Denver Pyle brought Uncle Jesse to life with warmth, humor, and a dash of gruffness that made him instantly relatable. Whenever Bo and Luke found themselves in trouble, it was Uncle Jesse who stepped in with a wise word or two, reminding them of the importance of family and loyalty. Whether he was scolding the boys for their reckless ways or whipping up a batch of his famous moonshine, Pyle infused the character with a genuine love that resonated with so many viewers. He was a rock of Hazzard County, always ready with a hug or a firm lesson to steer his nephews in the right direction. Denver Pyle's portrayal of Uncle Jesse was a defining role in his later acting years. Pyle was already an accomplished actor with a rich background in film and TV, but it was his work on the Dukes of Hazzard that endeared him to a new generation of fans. I'd say this role and his role in 1975's Escape to Witch Mountain, and we can't forget his brilliant Mad Jack in The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. But Mom and Dad already loved Pyle from the Doris Day Show back in the late 60s. And even way before that, back in the 50s, the guy was in some fantastic projects. Stuff like The Andy Griffith Show, and even as far back as The Gene Autry Show. If you're a fan of early film and TV, you've certainly seen him a bunch. And fun fact, for Dukes, Pyle improvised many of his lines, giving Uncle Jesse an authenticity that made him feel like a real-life figure.
You wouldn't I?
His blend of humor and sincerity catapulted Uncle Jesse into a beloved figure synonymous with family values and down-home wisdom. After Dukes, Denver Pyle didn't really slow down. He kept working his tail off in very popular programs. We're talking guest appearances on stuff like The A-Team and Matlock, where his killer voice and swagger was boldly welcomed on set. Also, side note, can we talk about how good Kathy Bates' new spin on Matlock is? It's really good if you haven't given it a chance. But Pyle was more than just an actor. He had a passion for flat-out storytelling. He directed about a dozen episodes of Death Valley Days, The Doris Day Show, and even The Dukes of Hazzard. In the later years of life, Pyle stayed close to the Dukes of Hazzard legacy. He went to reunions and fan events where he shared heartfelt stories and connected with the fans who cherished Uncle Jesse as much as he did. This guy loved the show, probably as much as the biggest Hazzard fans out there, I think. Here's where the bad news starts kicking in for this hilarious bunch of talented stars. Pyle passed away in 1997, and this one's a heartbreaker. It was lung cancer, and the poor guy died on Christmas Day when he was 77 years old. A good run, sure, but it'll always feel too soon. Let's remember this, though. Denver Pyle's legacy as Uncle Jesse endures. His ability to bring warmth, wisdom, and humor to a simple television character resonates with fans old and new, reminding us all of the importance of family and the values he embodied. Denver Pyle may have left us, but Uncle Jesse's spirit continues to live on in our hearts, a testament to the enduring impact of his remarkable talent and kindness. From the dusty roads of Hazzard County to the cherished memories he left behind, Denver Pyle will forever be remembered as the beloved Uncle Jesse. James Best. Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane, the bumbling yet oddly lovable lawman who never could catch the Duke boys no matter how hard he tried. Whether he was tearing through Hazzard County in a cloud of dust, or, well, frankly falling for his own traps. Roscoe's wild antics and signature laugh
Ooh, I'm just so happy, little fat buddy. You ain't.
Made him one of the most memorable characters on the Dukes of Hazzard. Heck, one of the most memorable on TV, period, which is probably a better honor than he deserves, but hey, his actor's as talented as they come. He was played to perfection by James Best, who made sure Roscoe wasn't just a simple bad guy. Best gave the sheriff an endearing goofiness that had us all rooting for him to at least keep trying. Because let's face it, what would the Dukes be without Roscoe hot on their tail? James Best portrayed Sheriff Roscoe with his impeccable comedic timing and physical humor shining in every episode.
You idiot! You bitch!
Best brought a lot more to Roscoe than just slapstick humor, too. He actually built up Roscoe's signature mannerisms and catchphrases, making him more of a quirky, misguided villain rather than a real threat. which I think is a good balance for keeping a show like this going and making it approachable for all ages of viewers. In fact, Best's on-screen chemistry with Boss Hogg was so strong that their scenes often turned into comedy gold.
If you don't catch them, you boys, don't worry, boy.
With the two improvising bits that became fan favorites. Who knew we were witnessing comedic geniuses in real time? If that's not good cause for a rewatch stat with that tidbit in mind, I don't know what is. After his days chasing the Duke boys, James Best didn't hang up his hat. He was actively acting as recently as 2013. He was great in an episode of In the Heat of the Night back in 1991. And some of you might be surprised to learn he was also a respected acting coach. James even taught classes and worked with legendary names like Burt Reynolds and Clint Eastwood before they hit it big. But his talents didn't stop there.
Bad news, bad news.
He was also a painter, author, and a playwright. So basically the opposite of Roscoe, which makes his acting extra impressive, but saves some neat talents for the rest of us. Best indeed. Speaking of name puns, he wrote a memoir titled Best in Hollywood, The Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful, talking about his life and career. It's a solid read if you're looking for a new book to crack into. Like most of his peers, James Best stayed connected to the Dukes of Hazzard legacy, appearing in the Dukes reunion films and even the 1999 video game. He also frequently attended fan events up until his passing in 2015. He also reprised his role as Roscoe in various skits over his career, always bringing that same playful spirit we loved on the show. Whether through his acting, teaching, or artistic endeavors, James Best left an indelible mark on the entertainment world, and we'll always remember him fondly as our favorite fumbling sheriff from Hazzard County. Soral Book. Boss Hogg, the white-suited, cigar-chomping schemer of Hazzard County. If there was trouble for the Duke boys, you could bet old Boss Hogg was behind it, plotting his next money-making scheme with that signature belly laugh and insatiable greed. Soral Book made Boss Hogg more than just the series' main antagonist. He brought humor and even a touch of sympathy to the role, creating, I think, one of TV's most beloved villains. We all love to hate him, but deep down, there was something endearing about the way he always managed to trip over his own plots. Whether he was barking orders at Sheriff Roscoe or getting caught red-handed by the Dukes, Boss Hogg's outrageous antics made him a fan favorite.
Be enough to make me lose my appetite.
Soral Book played Boss Hogg from 1979 until '85, giving the character an unforgettable, larger-than-life presence. The job wasn't just about giving his best take in any given scene either, but it was actually kind of physically demanding too, since Book had to wear special padding to look the part. So all that great work he did was while wrestling with an uncomfortable costume at the same time as delivering the perfect line reading. Despite Boss Hogg's ridiculous antics, Book's comedic talent and Shakespearean training added layers to the role that not many others would have discovered. His chemistry with James Best was off the charts, of course, and the two created some of the funniest moments on the entire show. Fun fact: when the cameras stopped rolling, Book was the polar opposite of Boss Hogg. He enrolled in college at just 16 and was a multilingual Ivy League graduate with a deep appreciation for the arts. Oh, and also an Army counterintelligence officer during the Korean War. Yeah, no big deal. So again, bringing way more competence to a bumbling character. It's a mark of just how skilled he is to pull off inept so gosh darn well. After Dukes, Book stayed active in the entertainment industry. He voiced characters in animated series like Scooby-Doo and the Smurfs, delighting a whole new generation of fans. Though he moved on from Hazzard County, he never truly left behind the character that made him a household name. He often appeared at Dukes of Hazzard fan events, as one does that was a part of a generational show. And if you ever met Book or Wopat or Bach at a convention, be sure to tell us all about your encounter down in the comments below. We lost the great actor back in 1994, and it wasn't pretty. The poor guy suffered from colorectal cancer and passed away in early February. He had just celebrated his 64th birthday the previous month and left behind 2 children. But long live his portrayal of Boss Hogg. His ability to turn a scheming villain into a lovable character is a testament to Book's likability as an actor. Even today, Boss Hogg's over-the-top antics, booming laughter, and constant mischief make us smile, reminding us just how fun it was to spend some time in Hazzard County. Soral Book may have left us, but Boss Hogg, he'll forever be chasing those Duke boys in our hearts. Ben Jones. Cooter Davenport, the wild-haired, grease-covered mechanic who could fix just about anything with a wrench and a smile. Cooter was more than just the Duke boys' go-to guy when the General Lee needed a tune-up. He was a true friend, always ready to jump in and help Bo and Luke, no questions asked. Whether he was throwing a wrench into Boss Hogg's plans or outsmarting Roscoe in his own quirky way. Cooter, well, he was a vital part of what made the Dukes of Hazzard so much fun to watch. Ben Jones wonderfully brought Cooter to life with a perfect blend of humor, southern charm, and loyalty, making him one of Hazzard County's most beloved characters. Ben Jones transformed Cooter, the town's good-natured mechanic, into a fan favorite. What many don't know is that Jones had a lot in common with his character. He actually came from a mechanical background and probably had the know-how to suggest terms and practical elements to add more realism to Cooter's scenes. Jones fully embraced the role, even growing a scruffy beard and sporting a rugged look that became Cooter's signature style. After Dukes, Ben Jones didn't entirely disappear from the spotlight. Instead, he just made quite the career swerve. He took a deep dive into politics and served 2 terms as a U.S. congressman from Georgia in the early 90s, bringing a touch of Hazzard County grit to Washington, D.C. But Jones didn't stop there. He transformed his Dukes fame into a commercial titan. He opened a Dukes-inspired museum and tourist destination, pretty aptly named Cooters, located in Tennessee and Virginia. It's filled to the brim with memorabilia, and they host annual fan events where Dukes enthusiasts can gather to relive the show's magic. Oh, and meet Ben himself. Jones has also written books about his time on the Dukes of Hazzard, sharing behind-the-scenes stories and reflecting on how the show has impacted his life. These days, Ben Jones is 83 years old, and his love for the Dukes of Hazzard and its fans is still unwavering. From Cooter's Garage to Capitol Hill and back again, Ben Jones has shown us all that being a good old boy can really take you to some pretty amazing places. Sonny Shroyer. Enos Strait, the lovable, bumbling deputy with a heart as big as Hazzard County itself, played brilliantly by Sonny Shroyer. Enos was the kind of lawman who couldn't catch the Duke boys if his life depended on it. But you seriously couldn't help but root for him anyway. He was sweet-natured, he was earnest, and it made him a perfect contrast to Roscoe's more devious antics. And who could forget his innocent, hopeless crush on Daisy? Watching Enos blush every time she flashed him a smile was pure TV gold.
I want to thank you for being so very, very sweet to me.
Sonny Shroyer made Enos a character that we all loved, reminding us that not every lawman in Hazzard was out to get the Dukes. Some of them were just caught in the middle. Sonny Shroyer portrayed Deputy Enos Strait from 1979 until 1985, and his portrayal was so endearing that it led to a spin-off show called Enos, where the character tried his luck as a detective in LA. Though the spin-off only lasted 1 season, it was a testament to just how many fans adored Shroyer's portrayal of the kind-hearted deputy. He brought genuine warmth and humor to the show, and his scenes with Daisy, well, they were some of the most heartfelt moments in the show. Sonny Shroyer was the most good old boy of all the actors on the show, too. He was born in Valdosta, Georgia, and grew up surrounded by timeless traditions of the Deep South. He was a star athlete and went to Florida State on a football scholarship. This, in turn, opened up a huge hole for him to run through, little football pun there, as his big break was as Tannen in The Longest Yard. After his time in Hazzard County, Sonny Shroyer kept right on working. He was in the Emmy-winning NBC series, I'll Fly Away, in 1991, before becoming the opposite of Enos as the smooth-talking ladies' man in Love Boat: The Next Wave. Blink and you'll miss Sonny in Forrest Gump, where he played none other than Coach Paul Bear Bryant. Shroyer's southern charm made him a natural fit for roles in films set in the South, and his recognizable face and gentle demeanor kept him in pretty high demand. But what really sets Sonny Shroyer apart is how similar he is to his character Enos. And I don't mean bumbling and unsure of himself. I mean he's a generous and kind man. He often helps out with the Los Angeles Special Olympics, as well as causes supporting muscular dystrophy, the Cystic Fibrosis Telethon, and the American Cancer Society. Nowadays, Sonny is 89 years old, and when he isn't campaigning for a good cause or acting in a project, he's back in his hometown of Valdosta, living the down-home South life we all loved on Dukes. He lives there with his wife, Paula, whom he has been married to since 1953. The couple have 2 children together. So, I guess Enos finally did get over his paralyzing crush on Daisy Duke. Everything worked out. From his sweet smiles to his genuine love for the fans, Sonny Shroyer's journey from Hazzard County's friendliest deputy to a beloved TV icon has seriously been one heck of a ride. Well folks, that about wraps it up here in Hazzard County. Who was your favorite character from the Dukes of Hazzard? Which actor's career did you follow most closely after the show ended? Did we forget someone from the Dukes of Hazzard? Well, get down in the comment section and tell us who. While you're there, tell us another TV show we should do a then and now for. We here at Do You Remember love to read your thoughts, because after all, we're nothing without you. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed our Dukes of Hazzard cast then and now, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss a memory. But most importantly, from my entire team here at Do You Remember, thanks for watching this video. Now have a wonderful day. I gotta go hit the road.